Hey guys, this is Woodshop Junkies, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the cordless trim router that I've been using in my workshop for the last couple of months. And the router in question is the AEG 18V brushless trim router. Now the guys in the States are probably going, but that's a Ridgid. Well, as far as I know, it's the exact same tool. It's got the same color scheme, features, uses the same battery. The only difference is the branding or the trademark. I think it's a very similar situation that we have with the Freud blades that are marketed or sold as a Diablo blade in the US. But I could be wrong. If I am, please let me know in the comments down below. Now, for my review of this product to be useful, I need to consider why you guys are watching it. Maybe you are looking at buying your first router or your first trim router. Maybe you are considering making the switch to cordless, or you saw this machine somewhere and you want a bit more information on it. Maybe you are just a diehard fan of my channel and you watch every single video I make. To those guys, massive thank you. To everybody else, I will try and answer all the questions you may have about this machine. Right guys, so before I get dug in with today's video, just a quick disclosure. I did not buy this machine. It was given to me about 5 months ago by my channel's official power tool partner to use in my workshop. But I was never paid or asked to do a review on it or to make this video. That's why they are not attached as a sponsor on this video, and you guys can bank on my honest review after using the tool for about 5 months. Right, so towards the end of the video, I'll do a practical demonstration and a few test cuts, but for now, I first want to check what's in the box. Now, the router and all its bits and bobs that I will get to in a moment is supplied in a neat little material carry case. The pretty two-tone carry case with logo embroidered on the front offers a convenient way to carry the tool and all its parts around, and also keeps everything nice and together while storing. Now, I did check on Amazon and the Ridgid actually comes in the exact same little carry case, the only difference obviously once again being the name on the front of the bag. But the pretty little bag isn't perfect. It doesn't seem to offer much when it comes to shock or water resistance. Considering this, I still give the bag a thumbs up because this is one of 4 routers in my workshop, but the only one that came with some form of keeping everything together, other than the box the tool is supplied in. In the bag you will find the 18V brushless router with an alternative round base, probably for when you need to guide it along a curved edge. You will also find the fence assembly and a wrench for bit changes. The machine comes with a 6mm and an alternative 1/4 inch collet, as well as a bit for each. When everything is squeezed into the bag, you should be able to get a battery in there as well. Now, before I jump in with the router, I first want to take a look at one of the router attachments, or more specifically, the router fence. The fence consists out of 3 separate components, which consist out of the 2 screw-in-place fence rails and then the sliding fence. The downside of this assembly, well, there's more components that you need to keep track of and focus on not losing. And if you lose any one of the components, the fence will obviously not work. I guess that's why they gave you the case, to keep everything together. Something else I'm not exactly crazy about is the fact that these rails need to screw in place on the router. Doing this, as you can see, is a bit of a tedious process, especially when you compare it to the slide lock mechanism used on many other routers. But there's definitely a method to their madness when they designed this system. Because these are separate components, they are able to manufacture them using different materials. The fence rails is solid steel and the fence itself is some kind of cast alloy. When you combine these components, you get a fence that produces almost zero flex, which is great for accuracy. Right, so with all of that out the way, let's get to why you guys are really here, the router. Now, first and foremost, this is a trim router, and like all trim routers, it's not designed to be a powerhouse. Instead, they are designed to be quick, easy, and convenient. You know, to make life simpler when you want to add a couple of chamfers to your latest project, or you want to do some low gauge routing. So if you are one of the people that is watching this video because you are looking to buy your first or maybe your only router, I'd suggest you keep looking. I mean, unless you are planning on only doing light routing. Don't get me wrong, I find myself using this machine 90% of the time because, as I said, it's easy, it's convenient, and it's one-hand operated. But when I need to get down and dirty and do some aggressive routing, I still bust out my Triton, which I reviewed quite a while ago, so if you want to check that out, I will link it down below. Next up, I want to take a quick look at the noteworthy features and functionality of the AEG. To secure or remove a bit, the spindle lock button is used along with the supplied wrench. Doing this through the router base can feel a bit restricting because it only allows for about a quarter of a rotation, but this hasn't bothered me too much. For better performance, I run my router using a 6 amp hour high demand battery. Which brings me to a point where I would like to make a comparison between a cordless and a corded trim router. Now, cordless obviously has a range of advantages like being able to go anywhere and eliminating the need for an annoying cord that always seems to get in the way or creates a tripping hazard. Or if you are South African, it makes you less dependent on your country's ability to supply you with stable electricity. But in the case of a cordless trim router, not just the AEG but any cordless trim router, the battery weight is located at the top, which creates a bit of a cumbersome layout, which I will be honest took me a bit of getting used to. Then to shed some clarity on the cutter while working is a built-in LED light. Now because of the placement of the LED, I can imagine it getting covered in dust from time to time, but luckily it's easy enough to reach when you want to wipe it off. Then the router has an operating range of about 17,000 to 25,000 RPM that can be adjusted using the adjustment knob located at the back. Now unfortunately the router doesn't make provision for the attachment of dust collection, and instead all you get is what seems to be some kind of evacuation port. And finally, one of my favorite things about this router is the fact that it incorporates a micro winder to allow for more accurate depth setting. So when setting the cutting depth, the operator would start by disengaging the base lock. Then for a quick setting, the operator would also disengage the micro winder and simply slide the base to the desired position. From there, the operator can re-engage the micro winder and set the height using the winder knob before re-engaging the lock. Right, so that covers all the features I wanted to go over for this review. If you guys feel like I left anything out, please let me know in the comments down below. With all of that out the way, I can finally get to doing a few test cuts. Right, so as I said, I really like the fact that you have the ability to fine-tune the cutting depth on the machine. Then, though I often run the router with one hand or use it with one hand, I do like to stabilize the machine if my second hand is available. And as I said, one of the things that I'm not exactly crazy about is how the base restricts bit changes. Now I guess you can remove the entire base when you want to change a bit, but I can't see that speeding up the process because you're adding an additional step. The LED light really does a good job at illuminating the cutter and giving the operator a better view. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it. Not a crazy amount of cutting, but you should have been able to see how all the features work together to make this little router. Something I didn't cover is obviously the battery indicator on the front over there, but with that included, I hope I answered any questions that you may have had about this tool. If I did miss anything or you guys have any other questions, please ask down below in the comment section of this video. As for my conclusion, well, this little router does have some features that take a bit longer to set up but increases accuracy. And because quality is more important than quantity, the little machine gets the thumbs up from me. As for pricing and availability, for the local guys, I'll drop some links down below in the description. And for the international guys, I'll add the tool to my Amazon storefront. All the relevant links, like I said, in the description of this video. And with that comes the end of my review. Now, I know I haven't done one in a while, so I would love to get some feedback from you guys. Was it informative, and did I answer any questions that you may have had about this tool? Then, as you can see behind me here, I have started on a new restoration, and I've got some lovely wood stacked up against the wall for a project that I'm going to start as soon as I'm finished with this video. So if you aren't subscribed yet and you want to see that, remember to do that now. And with that comes the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Cheers.